Hi guys and all the Me fans. We would have loved to have you guys here, but this I'm sure is going to be equally exciting. I'm Anuj, and as Manu mentioned, I lead marketing at Xiaomi India. And it's my privilege to introduce to you the global debut of the Redmi Note 9 Pro Max. So with that, let me get into the Pro Max. Excited? Of course you are. Now the Pro Max has three fundamental pillars. You have Aura design, you've got a Pro camera, and max performance. And the first part that we are all super excited to show you is Aura design. Overall, a really good looking device. It does not look like it belongs in this segment at all. It doesn't feel like it belongs in this segment at all. What you've got is a triple Corning Gorilla Glass 5 setup. You've got in-display cameras, of course the functionality of a headphone jack, IR blaster, a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, all being there. You've got an amazing symmetrical layout and a 20:9 cinematic display, which is amazingly gorgeous and immersive. And that brings me to the next part, which I'm sure you guys are excited about, the Pro cameras. Now, Pro cameras, as you would have guessed, of course, we've got 4 cameras at the back. Now, what are these 4 cameras? You've got a 64 megapixel primary camera. You've got an 8 megapixel wide angle camera, so you can capture a lot more. And the third one, which I'm personally really excited about, a 5 megapixel macro camera. So when you go close and you see a lot more, it's world changing. And of course, we know right from the Redmi Note 5 Pro onwards, you guys have loved portrait shots. You get another depth sensor. Now we are supporting raw photography in the Pro Max. You've got Pro Color. Of course, you saw that lovely 32 megapixel selfie camera right up front as well. Another thing that I did not mention is that this camera also supports a 21:9 movie frame. So when you're taking those shots, you get that amazing cinematic look, whether you're taking stills or you're taking videos. Now, before I move on to the next section, now this one is something that we wanted to share with all of you. We've had certain questions when we were meeting Me fans last, and they asked us 2 things. One, about our configurations that we have for certain products. And the second one is, how is our 64 megapixel camera better than others? Well, there's one answer actually to both of those questions. Our 64 megapixel camera actually uses MFNR, or multi-frame noise reduction. That means it's taking 8 64 megapixel shots, combining them into one to give you one incredible high quality image. Now, to do something like this, of course, the challenge is on the hardware processing side, which means that anytime Xiaomi uses a 64 megapixel camera sensor, it has to be supported with 6 GB of RAM. Because if we are using a 4 GB RAM variant, we cannot do MFNR, hence you only have a single frame, which often results in really low quality 64 megapixel shots. Now, when you're buying a 64 MP camera, you expect that magic, and for that, we're limiting it to 6 GB. So the Pro Max, as you would have guessed, will start with only 6 GB of RAM. And while we are talking about RAM, of course, let's talk about performance, or max performance. What you saw was a Snapdragon 720G, which is built on the 8 nanometer chipset or process. It's more power efficient, and you've got that power efficiency combined with a massive battery that also charges faster. You've got support for Snapdragon Elite Gaming, and it comes with up to 8 GB of DDR4X RAM and up to 128 GB of UFS 2.1 ultra-fast storage. And perhaps the most important part for us, and one of the key reasons why we wanted to really use the 720G, is the support for Navic. And that's the Note 9 Pro Max.
So what should be the price of Redmi Note 9 Pro Max? Should it be like 30,000 rupees similar to these devices, or should it be something different? The base variant, which is 6 GB RAM and 64 GB storage, is being launched at, any guesses? It is being launched at only rupees 14,999 rupees. And then we have 6 GB 128 GB variant, which is being launched at 16,999 rupees. And the top variant, which is 8 GB RAM and 128 GB storage, is being launched at 18,999 rupees.